All of the stuff that you're about to see in this video is hilariously ironic, and I say that because, well, let's just jump right in. So for those of you who don't know, I recently started doing game reviews here on my channel. When I review games, I never give them a game score like a 7.5 or a 9 out of 10. I give the overall experience with the game that I've had, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, problems with it, and I give my overall experience with that game, present it to you guys, and say, if you like this type of game, if you like this type of style, you like my review, buy it. That's it. I don't give games subjective reviews because I don't like giving scores on games because they're such a subjective thing from person to person. But nonetheless, this review stood out to me, mainly because I have played the Bayonetta games. Actually, I've only played the first one. But almost all game sites that have been reviewing this game, it has been getting highly acclaimed reviews, and that's awesome. But this one review in particular really kind of grossed me out. And I don't mean gross as in like ew, but like grossed me out at the gross hypocrisy of the particular article writer or game reviewer and how he reviews this game. And mainly, it's his reason for giving the game the score that it has. And it shocks me that someone who, as you're going to see, holds this complete double standard of, hey, I'm going to rate a game based upon my political stances of how I view the sexualization of women in video games, and I'm going to use that as a point against the game. So let's go to Polygon.com, shall we? So right on Polygon.com's website, here's the Beta 2 review, Heaven and Hell. We're going to scroll through this by, is it Arthur Gase? I don't know how to say his name, I don't even fucking care. But here, this is for the most part a general game review, but there are certain points of this review which just kind of shocked me and made me laugh. It's also the kind of game that left me asking how many times and how many different ways developable Platinum could run a camera up the main character's spread legs and cleavage. On one side of the knife, it's the character action game that redefines the incredible combat foundation of the original Bayonetta and avoids the lack of variety that dragged it down in the last third. On the other, the deliberate sexualization and objectification on display serves as a jarring distraction from the creativity and design smarts elsewhere. So I'm assuming when you say jarring distraction, that means like, oh my god, I got a boner. Oh no. Oh, it's distracting me from actually playing the game. Quite frankly, I've never gotten a boner from a video game that I've played from any female character, but hey, everybody's different. Less positive is the same exaggerated sexualization that hung heavy around the last game. I'll forgive that high heels and other exaggerated proportions, if only because there's so many other things to criticize. Bayonetta's new outfit delivers a bold new development in revealing clothing with an introduction of diamond-cut outs of the ass of her jumpsuit, creating an only that can refer to as an under-butt cleavage. When standing in place, her shoulders are bent back to point her chest at, whatever. There are enough gratuitous ass shots, cleavage jokes, and spread legs to fill hours of long supercut. The camera doesn't look at Bayonetta, it leers at her. And then this is where it really says, the wrap-up. And I want you to listen to this, guys. Bayonetta's 2 blatant over-sexualization puts a big dent in an otherwise great game. They say at the end of here, I won't guess why the blatant over-sexualization is still there, often more intensely than before, but it causes an otherwise great game to require a much bigger mental compromise to enjoy. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail about how Bayonetta is a game which a woman is in control of her own sexuality, how I think this game is actually one of the best, should I say, feminist games of all time, because this is a woman who doesn't take shit from anyone. This is a woman who is powerful in her sexuality and doesn't give a shit about what any guy or any person says. She is her own independent, excuse me, fucking dyslexia, dependent woman. That's what she is. She dresses and acts and is sexy and wants to portray herself in that particular way. Why is that wrong, or why is that some negative critical point that you diss the game itself for? If a man or woman wants to empower themselves with their own sexuality, they should have the freedom to do that, especially in the real world. But what bothers me more about this entire review itself is not the fact that he completely overlooks the fact that she's actually empowering herself by being in control of her own sexuality, and if she wants to show her titties, or if any girl wants to show her titties or show cleavage, that she has the right to do that. She has the right to dress and be the way that she wants to be. is that this reviewer's blatant double standard of using his political stances, which, by the way, when you review a game, I want to hear about the game itself, not your political stances on how you think sexualization or a game character who is sexualized or is showing off her boobs or ass, how that is the fundamental problem of the game itself. Using your same line of reasoning, if you were in fact against, let's say, gay couples or lesbian couples, would you not have to diss games like Mass Effect 3 where you can choose to have same-sex sex? Games like Fable 3 where you have the option to become a lesbian couple? Games like Dead Rising 2 which had two female minor villains who were in a incestuous? Is that the right word? Incest relationship, and they were lesbians. Hell, I could sit here all day and go through a list of games from the earliest 1989 all the way up until current day. My point is this, is that if you reviewed a game and dismissed it based upon, for example, gay themes or a gay couple being represented or gay sex that happens in the game, that is one of the most childish, not only childish, but illogical things that you can do while reviewing a game, is to bring in your political beliefs regarding same-sex marriage or regarding the sexualization of video game characters. What shocks me even more, and why I realize that these are reviewed by different people of Polygon, is how you can look at the wrap-up here of Bayonetta's blatant over-sexualization puts a big game indent, otherwise great game. Killer is Dead marks a low point for a grasshopper manufacturer, which they don't really ever even talk about the sexual stuff and content within Killer is Dead. Then they have GTA 5, which they rated 9.5, which is actually probably one of the has more sexual content in most games that I have ever seen. And the statement at the top, AAA Studio has a history of pressuring devs for favorable review scores. GTA 5 had more explicit content than Bayonetta 2 or Killer is Dead. It just absolutely stuns me how you rate other games with more sexual explicit content, high reviews, but a game that has a woman who's sexualized by this particular reviewer disses it on that main basis. Let us not forget the hilarious, ironic part, that the same reviewer who critiques this game for its over-sexualization of Bayonetta does in fact have a Suicide Girls account. So I'm kind of confused at how you like Suicide Girls, which is all about sexy girls and tattoos and pictures of them either naked or completely in revealing skimpy clothing, which is perfectly fine if that's what he's into. Or anyone for that matter, but the problem here is that I can't understand why you critique the game for its over-sexualization when Suicide Girls does the exact same thing. When sexy girls with tattoos show themselves off, get sexy photos of themselves, and people like you pay a subscription service. All I'm trying to say in this video is that this is a blatant double standard, not only on Polygon's part, but also from the reviewer's standpoint, as he criticizes the sexualization of Bayonetta. You review the game based upon your personal political positions, and then of course blatantly contradict yourself by this review by paying a paid subscription service. Follow and look at Suicide Girls on their website. Ladies and gentlemen, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me how one person can say one thing and do a complete other. What do you guys think about this? What do you think of Polygon's review of itself, and what do you think of the reviewer? Love to know your thoughts and opinions. Write them down below in the comment section. Peace, the rep out.